It's back. After being away during the Christmas and the New Year period and having been on ice for a good few weeks, the CAF Champions League has returned. The post-tournament depression that we were supposed to be feeling, that void has now been filled as we go back from the spectacle and glamour of Morocco to the bread and butter of the pitches of Pretoria, Bamako, Tunis, Ndola, and Berkane. Hi, I'm the Football Otaku, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to the CAF Champions League. Happy New Year to Africa's premier club competition and the toughest club competition on the planet. After what has been a splendid and indeed controversial end to the Africa Cup of Nations, end that still has the whole world talking, it's back to the bread and butter of Africa's premier club competition, back to the bread and butter of the African Club Championship. If you guys are loving my content, don't forget to like, to share, and subscribe, and engage with me in the comments. But great to be back. Now let's talk about the action that indeed brought us back, starting with Matchday 3 started in Group A with the first piece of action taking place in Ndola, Zambia, as Power Dynamos took on Rivers United. These are two teams who've not made great starts to their Champions League campaigns, a draw and a defeat, meaning that one of these two had to get the result to keep any hopes of qualification alive. And it was the home team, Power Dynamos, who made the strongest start and created a lot of chances. The headline chance of the first half was a fantastic header, which was poured away by the goalkeeper. They hit the post as well in the first half, and then again in the second half. They didn't really cover themselves in glory, do Rivers United. They were very, very defensive. They created very little chances. I mean, they struggled even to get over Power Dynamos' halfway line, and really you could see that the Finidi George's men were trying to solidify themselves at the back, try to take the point home. And for Power Dynamos, they were the ones who really took the game to Rivers United, but unfortunately couldn't find the breakthrough. And despite having so much stake in the game, unfortunately they couldn't put their chances away. But I think the positive was they weren't necessarily punished as well. The full-time score, 0-0. Not a great result for both sides. Now both of them had to pray for some kind of a positive result taking place in Berkane later that evening. In Berkane, it would be a rematch of the recently played CAF Super Cup, as the Confederations Cup winners, RS Berkane, took on defending champions Pyramids, and it would be the home team from Morocco would have a fantastic opportunity with a Berkane player in on goal. He beats the goalkeeper, he has the net in his sights, and he proceeds to sky the ball. I mean, on one end, it's shots you have to be putting away. If you're any self-respecting striker in the pro level, you have to be putting those away. But at the same time, I won't judge him, because I believe there's no striker on the planet that has never missed a goal, an open goal opportunity. If you can show me one of those, I'll show you a rooster with teeth. Then RS Berkane still proceeded to create a lot of chances as well. Pyramids not necessarily looking their best, and you can clearly see that the Cup of Nations was, as you know, Pyramids did contribute a few players to the Cup of Nations, both for a lot of countries. So you can tell that they were a little bit slow on the mark. And remember, the Egyptian league didn't really close during the Cup of Nations. They were still playing. So you could just tell that Pyramids were a little bit laggy. They were not their ultra attacking selves, but they were able to hold on well enough for a point against RSB, who will be a little bit disappointed that they didn't get the result, but they will also take the points as well. They'll be very happy with where they are in the group at the moment. So this is how the group looks after match day 3. We still have the top two between Berkane and Pyramids tied on 7 points, while Rivers United and Power Dynamos are 6 points back each. Both have 1 point. We then have the reverse fixtures on match day 4, where Power Dynamos visits Nigeria to play Rivers United, while Pyramids, the defending champions, host RS Berkane. The winner of that match will almost certainly secure a place in the last 8. For Group B, the action began in Alexandria, of all places, as record champs Al Ahly took on young Africans. For the Cairo side, they had a lot of AFCON participants in their team, like especially a lot of them contributing to Egypt, like the likes of Imam Ashur and Mahmoud Trezeguet. And you could also tell, like I said earlier with Pyramids, you could also tell the Cup of Nations took its toll on Al Ahly as well, with a lot of the team looking pretty sluggish. Although in the first half they were the more enterprising, they still looked a little sluggish, still looked a little on the slow side, sort of missed a step. While for Yanga as well, they actually were pretty well. They took the game to Al Ahly when they could, when they had their chances, and really had challenged Mustafa Shabir, the substitute goalkeeper for Al Ahly. But eventually the champions, or the record champions in this case, would take the lead just before the break, thanks to Captain Trezeguet with a fantastic header just before the break. And this was a great time to score, because now they've taken the lead just before half time. It's always important to score near the end of the half or near the beginning of the second half as well, because it gives an opportunity. It changes the tactics, it changes the game dynamic at a very crucial time. Al Ahly, though, would be more grow onto their own into the second half, and you could see that although they were still a little bit rusty, that rust was sort of started to come off and really started to take the game onto their own against Yanga. And eventually they'd get their second goal and be again that man again, Trezeguet, who was captain for the Knights, with a fantastic effort just outside, a curling shot just outside the area for 2-0. That would seal the contest and would give Al Ahly 7 points and provisionally top spot of the group, depending of course on the other match that took place in Algeria. Well, in Algeria, it was a highly tense meeting between FAR Rabat and JS Kabylie. Of course, this match was so high intense that FAR Rabat did not make the trip. The fans, that is. None of their fans made the trip across the border to Algeria. And it was a match that, it was very tight. JS Kabylie had their chances with balls floated into the area, a lot more aerial play. But sadly, the intensity of the match and sort of the tension of the match sort of got the better of the two sides. As it was a game that was bogged down in midfield, not a lot happened, not a lot of creative opportunities was able to flourish, and eventually the game would peter out into a goalless draw. A draw that doesn't really benefit anyone, especially in the context of the group, but keeps the group really tight. And sadly, the biggest benefactors of this result didn't even play, that played earlier in the match day. So here's how Group B lines up. We have Al Ahly on top with 7 points. Yanga are only 3 points back on 4 points, while JS Kabylie and FAR Rabat are both on 2 points each. On match day 4, Al Ahly visit Young Africans, while FAR Rabat host JS Kabylie in what will be a pivotal match day to decide who goes through to the next round of the Champions League. It was Friday Night Lights to kick off Group C's action in the Champions League as Mamelodi Sundowns took on Al Hilal, and boy, this arguably was the game of the week. I mean, this was a fantastic game of football, and it would be a surprise lead for the visitors from Sudan from a counter-attack. I mean, Sundowns had started the game strong enough, but counter-attack and great quick work would leave Roof, the number 8, yes, that's his name, that's actually written on the back of his shirt. He would be on the end of a well-worked move amongst Al Hilal. I mean, the likes of Jean-Claude and his teammates. Fantastic passing move with Koulibaly as well, and a rasping finish that Williams just stood no chance and would give a shock lead to the Sudanese visitors in the 15th minute. That lead, though, didn't last long as Mamelodi Sundowns caught Al Hilal's defense very flat, and Aratu Saleh would be able to ghost in from the back with a pass over the top. And it's not the cleanest finish. He doesn't even trap the ball properly, but it comes off his foot and sort of rolls over the line for 1-1. And it's a defensive tactic that I'm sure the Al Hilal coach will definitely want reviewed on the way home. I mean, it's a slack piece of defending. They looked very, very static, very, very flat, and Sundowns exposed them just like that. Second half was still a little bit even between the two sides. I mean, chances were being created, but Sundowns began to take over their own. And in the 60th minute, they had a fantastic opportunity, a great recovery tackle from Chelo Allende. Sadly, though, Tashreeq Matthews would sky the opportunity after a well-worked move and a save from the goalkeeper. But Sundowns wouldn't be denied for long, as a short corner played out from the back would eventually find Teboho Mokoena just outside the penalty area, and you know what happens next. He did the thing again, you know, and a fantastic shot from outside the area for 2-1 to Sundowns, and finally you could say Sundowns got the lead that they deserved throughout the course of play throughout the second half. But again, just like Al Hilal's lead, Sundowns' lead wouldn't last very long. And again, it comes from a defensive error. A ball played over to Adama Koulibaly. Again, it doesn't really look nice. The Sundowns defense looks static at first. They only really react when Koulibaly gets the ball. And then play back again to Roof, the number 8, who then slides it past Williams for 2-2. And again, it stuns the stadium, and the small band of Sudanese in the crowd were absolutely loving it. 2-2. And again, Sundowns still do create opportunities, but still not as good as how they had it in the early parts of the game. Al Hilal bunkered down. They are, though, reduced to 10 men. It's a soft red card. It's a very, very soft red card. I felt it still should have been a yellow at the very least. I mean, the precedent was set at the Cup of Nations. You have no business putting your hand on a player's face like that, but the boy is so young. Fembolo, the boy is he's so young. I mean, the boy is 18, and he'll learn from this. I mean, he even posted an apology video on the club's social media to apologize to the fans. It doesn't look nice, but I mean, you have no business putting your hand on a player's face like that. And as much as you can criticize Mkhuliso Mudau for sort of selling the foul a little too hard, but at the same time, it comes with the game. I mean, charge it to the game. Yeah, I'm sure Inter fans who remember that night in Barcelona, that's just how I could compare it to this. But again, it still shouldn't have been a yellow. Too harsh for it to be a red. Too harsh for it to be a red, and really doesn't cover the referee in glory. But anyway, it ends 2-2, and the frustration grows for Mamelodi Sundowns and their supporters, especially against coach Miguel Cardoso and some members of the board. For Al Hilal, it's a phenomenal result. First time they've avoided defeat in South Africa in their 5 previous visits, and it keeps the two teams ahead, neck and neck. And now leaves both of them wondering in eagerness what would happen in Lubumbashi in the other game. History has been made on a balmy Sunday afternoon as Sant Eloi Lupopo welcomed Maludia Club Algiers, and it was a pretty tight game. It was a tight game that really Sant Eloi really held their own. They really kept their discipline as well, created a lot of opportunities as well, especially against the Maludia Club that really are underwhelming. I mean, they've been doing very well domestically, but just haven't had the step up yet, and really haven't impressed in the continental stage yet. And sadly, though, the big moment would fall right near the end in the 95th minute, when there would be a penalty, an infringement in the box for the home side, Sant Eloi Lupopo. The penalty would be converted. That would be it. That would be full time, and it would be a landmark result for the team from the DRC. Their first ever victory in the CAF Champions League group stage proper, and it really throws the cat amongst the pigeons in the group dynamic now. Now, this is how the group lines up. We have Al Hilal and Mamelodi Sundowns both joint top of the group. Al Hilal should actually be edging the lead, considering that they scored 2 away goals in Pretoria, while Sant Eloi Lupopo are a point behind in third, while Maludia Club, the group is starting to cut them adrift. at 1 point. Of course, we then have the reverse fixtures. Mamelodi Sundowns go up to Rwanda to visit Al Hilal in what is a pivotal clash in the campaign, while for Sans Eliwalu Popo, their slight dreams of Champions League quarterfinal participation, they're going to have to keep that dream alive by somehow getting a result up in Algeria against Maloudia Club, a desperate Maloudia Club who know that victory and only victory will keep them alive in this competition. For Group D, the action began in Tunis as Espérance took on Simba. Simba, who are 2 defeats from 2 in the competition, had a change of manager. In came Steve Barker, the former coach of Stellenbosch here in South Africa, and his first assignment would be away at an Espérance team that haven't really made a glowing start to the Champions League group stage. It was a tense match. Espérance looked a lot better. They looked a lot better than what they've looked in the group stage so far, and eventually they'd get the lead through Jack Diarra, who got the ball from the left flank, was able to receive the ball from the left flank, roared up front, and from a very narrow angle was able to put the ball into the back of the net. Espérance as well looked very, very languid, looked very, very tired, looked very, very short and devoid of creative chances, but they were up against a team that aren't doing any better. I mean, Simba, with the constant change of coach, haven't looked very good at all in the group stage, and the game would peter out. And for Espérance, it's a first 3 points in the group, while for Simba, it's another devastating defeat, and the games are running out, the time is running out if they want to salvage this Champions League campaign. In Mali, on the other hand, it's absolute landmark, as Petro de Luanda visited Stade Malien de Bamako, and it would be the Malian side, the Malian underdogs, who would take the lead with Mamadou Traore, who would give the Malian side the lead, the Shrimps as they're actually known, to give them the lead. With a ball floated into the area, he'd be able to jump highest and hit the ball past the goalkeeper for 1-0, and that really sent the crowd off. I mean, it was a pretty nice atmosphere in Bamako, and it really just needed a goal to just get the vibe going, and that's exactly what happened. And then 1 became 2 soon after, but it was really a mistake of Petro's own making. I mean, Hugo Marks, the goalkeeper, throws the ball. He throws it against his player, his own defender, who's not ready to receive the ball. And mistakes like that are often punished. And they were heavily punished when they went 2-0 down. A well-worked move, and then would be finished off by the Stade Malien attacker. And that would be for 2-0 to the Malian side. It would be sadly too tall in order for the Angolan side to come back, and sadly they would be beaten 2-0 by Stade Malien. Stade Malien scoring their 2nd straight win in the groups at home, and now which gives them total control of the group, which is an absolute fantastic result for a team that's actually making their CAF Champions League debut. Their debut at this part of the competition, and they've been nothing short of fantastic. So here's how the group lines up. We have Stade Malien on top with 7 points. Espérance are actually improving now. They're 2nd at 5 after their slow start. Petro de Luanda with 4, while Simba still at the bottom, and I think are the only team in the competition with no points so far. We of course have the reverse fixtures where Petro de Luanda will host Stade Malien, while Espérance visits a very desperate Simba, who know that defeat will all but certainly see them out of the CAF Champions League in the group stage. And that's it. That is the end of our wrap. How did your team do? How did your team get on in this match day of the CAF Champions League? What are your team's chances? Are your chances really good? Are they really bad? And what do you think your team should do to improve? Sound off, of course, in the comments. Thanks again for sticking through to the video. You're an absolute warrior, and we will see you again. And until then, it's been your boy, the Football Otaku, and never forget, real football always wins. Check you on the flip side. Deuces. Bye-bye.